Learn to push your code in GitHub under 5 minutes, even if you are a beginner. In today's video, I'll be covering all the concepts that you need to know as a beginner to push your code from your computer to the GitHub repository. If you already know what GitHub is, then skip to this part. So as a programmer, what's the first thing that you do after you complete writing your code? Now, if you look at the good programmers, the first thing that they do is they upload their source code, their files of the program in GitHub. So GitHub is basically a cloud-based platform where programmers use to store their source code, the entire files of their software. Now it is completely up to you whether you want to keep it public or private. Now, if you want to keep it public, then your software becomes an open source software. And if you keep it private, it becomes a closed source software. Now the question is, why exactly do you need GitHub? Now let's say you are working on a project. It's a very big project with multiple workers, with multiple contributors, and you want other contributors publicly to improvise your code. In that case, you will use GitHub for project management, to manage your files, all the activities, all the files, all the directories, all the media files, and to make it easier as a human to understand how the branches of the files are. Now the second use case is, let's say you want a backup of your code. In that case, you will upload your code to GitHub, where by chance, if your original files get lost, then you will have GitHub from where you can re-download the files and work on the project. Now let's come to my computer screen and learn how to push your code in 5 minutes, even if you're a beginner. So this is my GitHub account. So I have made this dummy website, which we are going to upload into GitHub. So we need a software, which is GitHub Desktop. So in order to push your code into GitHub, we will need GitHub Desktop. It is the software of GitHub, which lets you upload your codes and manage your stuff simultaneously. So I'm downloading it. Yeah, and it's downloaded. It's over here. Let's open it. So yeah, our GitHub Desktop is installed. So it will ask for your credentials, login credentials. You will have to log in via your GitHub account. And this is the file where I have saved my website, a very dummy website. So now what I'm going to do is I'll click on add an existing repository from my local drive. I'll select the path. I hope it's this one, set folder, add repository. So this directory does not appear to be a good repository. So click on create a repository. Keep the name as it is, and which is the name of the folder. Click on create repository. So you come to history and you will find both the files. This is your main original file, which is this one, the source code. And so after I have uploaded my source code into GitHub, there's a new file .git attributes. So if you're a beginner, you don't have to touch it at all, because it helps you to, it allows you to play with the version control and all the other advanced stuff. So as a beginner, you don't have to know much about it. Now let's focus on this thing. So now the only thing that we have to do is we have to publish this as a repository into GitHub. Publish this repository to GitHub, right? So I'll click on publish. Publish repository. So it's published. I'll come to history and I'll come to GitHub. I'll see here. Refresh. Yeah, so there's a new repository over here, sample website. So by default, it's on private, but if I wish, I can make it public too. I'll come to settings, come over here. Change visibility, change to public. I want to make this public. I have written this effects. Make this repository public. So it's public now. Now if you wish to, then you can copy the link and send it to someone else, and it is now a public repository. But now let's say you want to add another file. Let's say let's call it contact.html. So here this is the contact page, right? So there are two files including both these files. So now if I come to GitHub, I come to changes, so automatically GitHub desktop has identified that there's a new change in the folder, this repository, this folder, this directory. So it has detected. So I'll click on commit one file to main. So what this will do is this will push it to this page over here. It means that it is accepting this change. So now what I have to do is I have to click on push origin. This will officially push the new file onto GitHub. Now I'll come over here, I'll refresh, and as you can see there's a new file contact.html, and I make any change over here also, any change. Let's say I'm adding a script, anything, let's say console.log contact me. I'll come to GitHub and automatically it has recognized the change. Click on commit one file to main, come to history and push origin. And that's how you officially commit the changes, accept the change and push it onto GitHub. It's that simple. Now let's reload. I'll come to contact.html and you can see this, the new part of the code, console.log. And here you will also get an option, like whenever you publish your code or whatever, whenever you create a new repository, you'll get an option to add a README. So what is exactly a README? So generally what programmers do, they add an overview of their project, a brief summary of what they made the project, like how to use the software, like they have made a tool, they have made a software, how to use it, how to install it, and all the other things. So let me show you. It can be anything. Let's say you can all, and the beauty of this thing is that you can also make it interactive. Now I can add this. Change. And you can see here, I'll come to here. There's a link. You can play with a lot of stuff. So when the person downloads these files, so with that they will also get the README file. You can see here a sample README that I made, that I showed you. So like that you can play with a lot of stuff. Now in some case, let's say my portfolio website, it gets deleted. Let's delete it. It got deleted. So here GitHub is not able to identify where Prem portfolio is because I have deleted it. Okay, now you come over here, I'll refresh. Let's see if it's there or not. Now you see it's still there, right? Now, as I have said earlier in the video, that you can use GitHub to take a backup of your code. Now, as I don't have the files, I will re-download this entire repository in a zip file. Or you can also copy this command, and you can go to your terminal and type your git clone, paste it, and it's going to work. Now I will just use the traditional method, download, and as you can see it's downloaded. I'll copy it again, I'll move it to here where I had deleted it earlier. I'll extract it. Now it's done. So yeah, again you can push this entire code to GitHub desktop, and whatever changes you can make, it will get reflected over here, and then simultaneously you can also commit the changes and you can publish it to GitHub. So that's how. And let's say you're working on a very big project. You don't have to repeatedly open your folder, and then from your folder you have to open your VS Code. You can directly come to GitHub it's closed. You can directly open GitHub, then come to history, and from here you can open VS Code and make your things easier. See, it's done, and whatever change I make here, say I'll add one more line to my save. It will recognize the change, commit one file, then go to history, push origin, and it's done. So like that, you can make the changes from your GitHub desktop only, and you can make things easier for you. I hope you learned something new from my video. If you did, then please subscribe to my channel to get more of such content.